Hello everyone, this is Opaque Future, and I am casting this game between two players, one of them being me, and that's me, Opaque Future, in the lower left-hand corner of Steps of War, as the yellow Protoss, and Fidel Cashflow, who is I don't know how many points, but he is a Diamond Terran player. I actually looked at his profile after this match, and he's playing Zerg right now, and I believe he's playing Zerg for one specific reason, and that is to practice his 7 Roach Rush, because that is exactly what he proceeded to do in this match against me. This was a custom match, so I didn't really take it that seriously. However, I did want to impress myself by countering the 7 Roach, which is not very common among players at my level. If you don't know my level of play, I'm a gold Protoss player, and I have like almost 1,000 points. So I can explain. First of all, I've been playing for a while, but I actually didn't get the game until this past Christmas. I didn't get my own account. The game was installed on my computer because my brother does have the game. If you don't know who my brother is Freak Shark HD. I'll put a link in the description below. And basically, he got the collector's edition a while ago, back actually the day the game first released. We were actually at the midnight release of it or whatever at our Walmart, and so yeah, that's Freak Shark HD. I'll put a description in the link in the description below. And so yeah, that's the account that I played on. I played on his, but I played a lot of custom games, and what I noticed about them is there are a lot of high-level diamond players and platinum players on the custom games, mainly this map, Steps of War. So just wanted to note that. And so here on my own account, I decided to play a custom game because I wasn't really in the mood to ladder, and it turned out that this guy felt like a 7 Roach Russian, which is actually not a cheese. Many people think it is a cheese, it's an all-in sort of strategy, but it's not. It does affect your economy a little bit because you lean towards the rush for roaches rather than droning up, but, you know, it's not a full cheese. I've seen people recover after doing the 7 Roach Rush and failing. In this case, he did fail and he did not recover properly. I'm just going to spoil it for you right there. But I just want to cast this match to let people know there is hope for fighting the 7 Roach Rush that Zerg love to do, especially on short rush distance maps such as this one, Steps of War. So as you can see, he's getting that Roach Warren at 17 supply. I believe my cybernetics is halfway up. I'm at 22 supply. Throwing down my second gateway and pumping out a zealot, constantly making probes because that's something you always want to do. And I actually scouted this, had a scout in his base for quite a while. However, I failed to go back here in this area to see his tech buildings, which was a mistake on my part. So I wasn't exactly prepared for the 7 Roach, but I did decide to do a 3-gate robo and eventually into an expand. But what happened was, once I saw those 5 roaches, because I made a wall with 2 zealots, and once I saw those 5 roaches right there, I decided, screw it, the robo is not going to be done in time. So what I actually did was I let him attack my robo, tagged on 2 more gateways, and then I had enough stalkers to deal with his early amount of roaches. Also, another thing I want to note, his micro was not the best. He didn't have pullback micro, and he was focusing the wrong things, like one of my gateways, rather than pylons, which was not a smart thing to do. However, my pylon placement was fairly good in this match. I had 1 pylon supporting 1 gateway right there, this pylon supporting 2 gateways, this pylon supporting, I believe, just this gateway, and this pylon supporting both of these gateways. So my pylon placement was very good in this match. Another pylon here would have been nice to support this gateway had he knocked it out. But like I said, his micro wasn't the best, and I don't think he knocked out any pylons at all. So here goes my robotics facility, and here we go. Here are the 7 roaches running across the map. And another thing I want to note, in this rush, you don't want to panic. The last thing you want to do is panic. If you're in a situation like this, where I'm actually going to pause it right now, these roaches are at your ramp, all you have is zealots because you decided to do a 3-gate or 4-gate. You want to chrono boost out the last bit, even if it's just a little bit. You know, you want to get that gateway or warp gate research as soon as possible, especially when you see the roaches already at your ramp. Zealots do not do a lot against roaches whatsoever. In big numbers, of course, they do, but roaches just burn these guys to the ground. So I'm going to actually resume the replay right now. As you can see, these roaches have come up my ramp, and they're starting to shoot at these zealots. These zealots are not going to live very long. They're going to try and attack the roaches, but of course, he's microing back, kiting these zealots. My third gateway has finished, and as you can see, he's going to go for my robotics facility right away. That is also another not smart move on his part, but he is hacking away at my robotics facility, and I didn't want to cancel it right away because I knew he would start going for other things in my base. Had I canceled it right away, he wouldn't have spent all that time on that robotics. So he's going to start attacking these stalkers. My micro wasn't great. I actually let one stalker die, but you cannot let all your stalkers die. You need to save these up. Another micro-ish failing thing on his part is that he went for my mineral line first, which is going to hurt me in the long term, but it's not going to completely take me out of the game because I'm warping in more stalkers. I held him off long enough for the cooldown to finish, and I got 5 stalkers total, and that will more than deal with this amount of roaches because stalkers do pretty well against roaches. I'm seeing that my stalkers have this handled. That was actually a micro on my part. I didn't keep them on the roaches, but I know that my stalkers can deal with these roaches right now, so I'm pretty safely bringing my probes back to the mineral line. 2 more gateways are up, and as you can see, he has more zealots pouring in. So what I do here is I try and move to the closest wall. As you can see, he's once again going for my mineral line. So I attack to surround these Zerglings with my probes while my stalkers hack away at them a little more, and I move my probes out, then I move them back in. Good micro that I did there. It actually, I believe with no micro, or with improper micro, I would have lost this game. But because I did the right thing with the robotics facility, making sure he was staying hacking away at that robotics facility long enough for my cooldown to end so that I can get 3 more stalkers into the mix to deal with those roaches. And that's basically going to give you the general idea of how to hold off the 5 roach rush. And one thing to also note, if you can keep them on their toes with their macro will slip, and they won't have enough to deal with a counterattack if you decide to go counterattack. At this point, he has speed on his Zerglings, so those Zerglings are going to go flying across the map into my base. However, he doesn't have much to go for, seeing as how my entire force is at this choke right here. So he's going to run these speedlings up and then run them back down, knowing that he will not do any permanent damage there. So this is going to give me a lot more time with my 5 gateways to build up more of an army and then go attack, of course. Also, like I said, he wasn't doing exactly the correct thing with these Zerglings. He wasn't mixing in roaches with them, and the Zerglings alone weren't going to be able to deal with this army of mine, especially now that I know he went Zergling heavy. I can add more zealots into the mix and micro my stalkers, and that'll pretty much be the solution to his entire army. So there you go. He's upgrading to lair, and probably going to end up doing most of what most Zerg players do, teching to mutas, and then, you know, just trying to auto win, because a lot of people believe that mutas need a little nerf. But, I think against Protoss, they're extremely strong. Against Terran, they have Thors and also Marines to deal with them. Stalkers don't exactly deal with them very well, but, whatever. He tried, I guess, to do the sort of auto-win kind of thing that they do a lot of Zerg players. Not saying all Zerg players do that. I'm just saying a lot of Zerg players, if their rush fails, they'll just tech straight to mutas and try and harass the crap out of you until you eventually just give up and GG, and they'll win the match. Actually, that was not the case here because I was warping in a lot more units, hopefully trying to keep up on my economy, constantly making probes. That's something you always want to do. Always be making workers. A lot of the times I see players just not making any workers, thinking that, oh, I need attacking units to win this match. Yes, you need attacking units, but the only way to get those attacking units in the long run is to make a lot of workers. Right here, I guess he wanted to hide this Zergling, maybe to know when I was expanding or something like that. And then he ended up wanting to attack my army or something like that. So, murdered the crap out of that Zergling. And here I'm making a push. I guess kind of a counter push, but it's pretty late. And his macro has completely slipped because of... Now, I don't know what he did here, making another Roach Warren. I don't know why he did that at all, but... Diamond Terran. I guess I'll let him be. Whatever. He wants to make 2 Roach Warrens, he can. Maybe he wants to get double the roaches. Okay, so here we go. Running up his ramp. Not the best micro with these stalkers. I should have pulled him back a lot earlier, but I do have the zealots to deal with them and a nice force field on the ramp to block all those roaches from reinforcing his army. Also, another thing I want to note. Had that force field not been there, this battle would have been lost for me. So, you need proper force field micro to win you these kinds of battles. I'm setting up a proxy here as well for instant reinforcements. That's one of the big perks of playing Protoss. You can set up a lot of proxies for lots of reinforcements. I believe at this point I could have pushed and won maybe even done just a run by straight up his ramp and said, screw the freaking spine crawlers, who needs them? Or bring in more reinforcements. And at this point, I mean, something you can also choose to do rather than teching up to robotics, because you already have 5 gates, you can just decide to expand rather than tech up to robotics. I figured that I had the match won because he cheesed me. I say cheese, but he rushed me, and that wasn't the case. I actually didn't have the match won, so I would have rather have expanded. I just didn't do it. I guess I forgot or something like that. Also, taking out these spine crawlers is very important because they will whittle at your forces very quickly. And at this point, I mean, you can see he doesn't have enough forces to deal with mine. Also, another force field is going to be going down right there. Very strategic force field, splitting up his forces, dealing with them half at a time, because that is most of the time going to win you matches. Splitting up their force field is extremely smart, and I'd like to encourage that in a lot of Protoss gameplay. So here you can see, I mean, he's got a fair amount of forces, but I've just got the instant reinforcements. I'm slowly overpowering him, so obviously I have this match won. He just doesn't have enough to deal with this. He is complete miss-microing his roaches, but at this point there's nothing he can do. I mean, I've got this proxy set up, getting more reinforcements, and there you go. Fidel Cashflow has left the game. So that is basically how you can counter a 7 roach. If you'd like to see a demonstration on how to counter a 5 roach, just you can comment below. I actually encourage commenting. Please comment on this video. I like it when you comment. And so yeah, if you want to see a 5 roach demonstration, I can make one of those as well. But there's the 7 roach. And a lot of times it won't be as bad because rush distances aren't this short. But that is a 7 roach, and they're extremely hard to deal with. So like this video, comment on the video if you liked it, and if you want to see a 5 roach demonstration, let me know. That's that, and I'll see you guys later.